her friends in Cape Town in December, and my ex-stepmother-in-law phoned me and said, Jenny's coming to Cape Town, come down with her and spend a holiday with us in Muizenberg.
Right.
But I really didn't feel like it. I was tired after the packing and the unpacking and the flying, and I didn't want to go.
So you were still living in Johannesburg?
We were still living in Johannesburg.
In Northumberland Avenue.
And and Sadie kept phoning me and saying, please come and spend a holiday with us. And I mentioned this to my mother, that she kept phoning to ask me to come. And my mother said, I think you'd better go, otherwise she'll feel you don't want to be friends with him anymore after our divorce.
Yes.
So I packed up and came to stay with Sadie and Pop.
In Muizenberg?
In Muizenberg.
Right.
And one day on the beach, Sadie introduced me to what she said was Cape Town's most eligible bachelor, Jack Gelb.
Wow.
And that evening he phoned to invite me out, and the next evening he was coming back to Cape Town where he lived, and he lived in Clifton, and he was a doctor and he was starting practice again the following day.
Right.
And he came back and he phoned to ask me to come to Cape Town, and he'd arranged a lift for me to go there and back, and he took me out in Cape Town. And I think 2 days later,
wow,
Jenny and I were due to fly back home to Johannesburg.
Okay.
And we came to the airport. It was the first 747. And the road...
The first South African Airways 747.
South African Airways, yes.
Okay.
And the road was choked with traffic coming to see the jumbo jet.
Yes. You know, we just saw that plane. It's in the South African Airways Museum now at Rand Airport. It's called the Lebombo. Yeah.
We were being driven by a friend of Harry Sax's, of Harry Finn, who'd been a colonel in the army, and he got out and he told the traffic police who he was and that he had passengers who were booked on the flight. He showed them our tickets and they cleared away. We had to drive on the pavement, on the grass, whatever, but we got there.
Right.
We got to the airport.
Yes. And
we sat down waiting to be called onto the flight. And suddenly there was an announcement over the loudspeaker. Will Mrs. Daphne Finn please call at the information office? And you know, one gets a fright, you don't know what's going on. And Jenny and I went off to the information office. I told the girl behind the counter who I was, and she bent down and she came up with a foot-long box of Proteas.
Wow.
And Jenny, I remember, took one look at this and said, don't expect me to carry that. This huge box of Proteas from Jack. And from then on he started phoning me every night when he would get home from practice. He would start phoning me. And the rest is history.
Wow. Well, and so when did you then move to Cape Town? Yes, what year did you move to Cape Town?
Yes, he wouldn't let me go back. No, I came down. This is all getting a bit confused. I was working as a PRO at Carlton Centre. In fact, I opened Carlton Centre.
Wow. Really?
With Miss South Africa.
What year was that?
On a sleigh.
Oh,
because they had the ice rink there.
Yes, I remember you used to go to the ice rink.
And I arranged for Douglas Hoff, who was one of the boys of Anglo-American,